Well, hello and welcome to About the Valley, and this is our last show for the season. We take off the next 2 months. Actually, no, yeah, 2 months, 3 months, 2 months, June and July. We're back in August, 3 months, I was right.
Okay.
I'm losing track of my time.
Give
Oh,
yourself more vacation, Harry.
I do, that's,
Yeah.
and the guys need a vacation.
Absolutely.
We need a break, we get things tuned up during the summer, get straightened out with equipment, things like
Nice.
that.
Right.
But my final guest for this season, Heather and Victoria from the Whitinville Community Center, was what's the official name?
George Marston Whitin Memorial Community Association, Inc.
There you go.
We should have tested Victoria to see if she knew
Right.
that off the top of her head yet.
It took me a long time to say Whitin Community Center, not Whitinsville Community Center,
Which
but
is
I'm on it.
unique to the valley because there's no other town that has such a place.
Yes, yes.
Now they build community centers,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not the same.
It's not the same. No, ours is 100 years old. It's
100 years old, and you offer so many different services. It's not a place where the community goes and gathers, or where you can hang out and play pool or whatever, even swim or anything. It's really you offer all kinds of services to the town.
Mm-hmm.
And one we want to talk about is the newest one that you're going to you're not new you do it now, but you're going to really expand. Is what I should say,
Yes,
into this building right here.
yes.
The first high school in town of Northbridge.
It is.
Dates way back, I don't know when they built it, early
1890.
18, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the first graduates was Dr. Balmer.
Yes.
And if you're not from town, you don't know who Dr. Balmer was. he was a school doctor for
Doctor,
many,
yes.
many years.
Mm.
But he graduated from high school out of here.
Wow.
Is that who Balmer is named after? The Balmer School is named
Yes.
after. Yes.
But they dropped the name.
Oh, they did with
Now
the new.
it's
the
Northbridge
Northbridge
Elementary School.
Okay.
Oh.
Because, well, a lot of newer people in town as well as the younger people, you don't remember.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I remember he gave me inoculations.
Oh, right. Yeah, you don't forget that guy.
No. He gave us our first polio shots
Yes.
back in the 50s.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He's like, where's your arm? He was quite old then,
Wow.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
but he delivered a lot of babies
I was
in
going to
this
say
town.
that a lot of people I know from town say that he delivered them.
Yep. So, I mean, he was a fixture within town for many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
So
But
the
anyway-
building will be utilized by probably children and maybe great-grandchildren, I'm trying to get the years right, of the graduates from that school. It will be their grandchildren or great-grandchildren who will occupy that space.
Yes,
Which
yes.
is,
it's called the
Very
Aldrich School after,
surreal.
I forget her first name. but
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth Aldrich. I had Mary Aldrich, who was my third grade teacher.
Mm-hmm.
She must have been a relative in some way.
You're
But
going to
anyway,
stump
it was-
me, Harry. If you don't know the answer, I don't know the
I know,
answer.
I
So,
I mean, I know Spalding was related to Mary Aldrich.
yes,
She was, I think she was an aunt,
yes.
but she never married, because back then, in the early 50s, you couldn't, up until the early 50s, you couldn't be a teacher if you were married.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, if you were a woman, you
Hmm.
couldn't be a teacher if you were married.
Hmm.
It sounds
Wow.
ridiculous,
It
but
does.
Yes.
that was a factor.
yes.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And
that's
around-
interesting because I think a lot of women just left their jobs, so it was an assumption that if you had children, that you would quit your job and you wouldn't come
Right.
back.
Mhm.
But I didn't realize it wasn't necessarily
No,
allowed.
it was part of the rules.
Wow.
It
Oh,
changed
boy.
not long after World War II ended.
Mhm.
In fact, Annette Lemia, who was my fourth grade teacher, she told me one time, she had to quit because she got married. And the superintendent came to her and said, look, we got an opening and now you can come in because we'll take married
Married
women.
women.
Wow. That's amazing that you remember all your teachers' names. I'm impressed.
Well, they made a big impression on me in grade school. I think that's important. And getting to what we're talking here. The kids that go to daycare now, and we didn't have daycare when I was young, because back then only one member of the family, the father worked, and the mother stayed home and take care of the kids.
Right.
So you didn't have daycare, but now it's almost impossible for both not to work because you can't afford this. I mean, when you're talking $1,800 a month rent,
Rent, yes,
Right,
exactly.
And now it's become a workforce issue because parents can't find affordable daycare.
exactly.
And
I
that's
mean,
open
how can
the
you go to
right
work
hours.
and pay your whole paycheck goes to daycare? Why work?
If you can find a spot.
Yeah, and if you can find this, that's the other thing too.
And if you can find something that's affordable.
Yes, and that's what we're talking here with the
Yes.
community center.
Yes,
You're gonna turn this into a daycare center,
we are.
and it's fairly large.
It is. It's about, I think, 15,000 square feet. It is four floors if you count the basement.
Yes,
And for those, some people went to not just high school there, but went to kindergarten there and
Yes.
other, because it moved around to different
well, it was
ages,
a grammar
correct?
school for a number
Number
of
of
years. So
years, right.
it was the elementary system in Whitinsville,
Right.
and then later on became the kindergarten. My two sons went there.
And people may be more familiar with it, Harry, as the Town Hall Annex.
Yes,
So that's where the Board of Health was, the planning board, the planning department, the building department, and Veterans Affairs were
Right.
all in that
which are now next to the new fire
fire
station.
station. Right, they just moved out like 2 weeks
Yes.
ago, I think. So, yes, so they turned those spaces from classrooms into town hall departments, and now we're changing them back into classrooms again.
Yes.
So we'll take the 2 floors and make them 4 classrooms.
Yeah, see, the upper floors weren't even used,
Correct.
but you're gonna put an elevator in.
We are.
Yes. 'cause
Yes.
That's part of the problem, that they had no elevator, so you couldn't use the upper
Couldn't
floors.
use the upper floors, correct. So it will actually require a lift. So we're gonna make the where you have the picture here, the main entrance, the old
Yes.
main entrance will become the new main entrance.
Oh.
We'll be going in through that entrance, everyone. And then in order to get up to the first floor, if you're, in need of assistance, there'll be a lift that can bring you up. So that's just
Oh,
open
okay.
air type thing where it just moves you up
Yes,
a step. And
because you
then,
haven't had handicapped accessibility now.
yes, but not, it would need to be fixed because it's not to code. And there's 2 separate entrances now. So the main
Right.
entrance where the able-bodied people could come through, and then for handicapped accessibility, you go around to the other side of the building
Right.
and go up a cement ramp. So we decided we wanted one entrance for
Yeah.
everyone, so
Right.
everyone goes in the same way.
And I think that's important too, because you don't feel like you don't feel like you're a lower person, you have to go around.
Correct.
Handicapped accessibility should be at the main entrance.
Correct.
And whenever possible.
Correct. So we're gonna be able to go in through that front entrance. The elevator will be more on the side, inside, but we'll be able to get everybody in the same way.
There was talk about putting a lift in there before, and using the upper floors, but that was just a chair lift.
Yes.
You're putting an actual elevator.
Elevator in to go from the first floor up to the 3rd floor or down to the basement.
I was gonna say down, yeah, now, will the bathroom still be in the basement?
They're staying there for now because we're not doing that much renovation yet,
Right.
but those aren't bathrooms you'll use. They're just the old bathrooms. So on each floor, there will be at least 4 children's bathrooms, 2 in each classroom.
Well, with children's
then-
bathrooms in the basement.
Yes, I know, but we're not sending them to the basement to go to the bathroom.
That was the way it was.
I know,
when
it's
went to
scary
school.
down there,
Yes.
yes.
I went to the Rockdale School over here, which is no longer
Yes.
there.
Right.
And in fact, when I got into junior high, we had to sign out to go to the bathroom.
Yep.
It was called the basement,
Yes.
even though it was on the same floor.
Yes. Well, even at the Rockdale Youth Center that we renovated, this old St. Peter's school, Catholic school.
Yeah, that's where they
that's where
are.
the bathrooms were too. And
Yeah.
they're still there, but we don't use those either.
Well, you put the bathrooms in on your right on your floor
yes,
level.
and
the
that
main floor.
and that's actually required now. So Department of Early Education and Care require you to have bathrooms with each classroom. So we can't send them to the basement anymore.
I can agree with, I mean, as a young kid, I remember going down those
I
stairs.
can imagine it was frightening,
It's like,
but-
yeah, it was kind of a frightening experience.
Yes. Yes. So we'll have 2 bathrooms with each classroom for the children, and then at least one adult bathroom on each floor.
Oh,
And I can imagine some kids got a little lost, those that, you know, were not too enthusiastic to get back to class.
right.
Oh, I
Yeah.
got lost in the basement.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe didn't find their way back so
Right.
quickly.
Right.
Yeah. Well, over there, the actual was cut right out of the stone. There was a lot of ledge in there. And that, part of it was the wall was ledge.
Yes. So do you want to talk a little bit about what the classrooms will be like, how many children and everything?
Yes.
Yes, they're beautiful. They're floor to ceiling with big, beautiful windows, open air space, and light, breezy, just very welcoming environment for anybody. And for the children, they're going to really love it and love that
That's
space.
good. The window, you're going to replace all the windows, right?
On the first and second floor to begin with.
Yeah.
We're saving the third floor for a future renovation,
We can
unless
use
we
it
make
for
a lot of
storage.
money. We have to raise a lot of money, so if we raise enough money, we'll do the third floor. But what our goal is the first 2 floors will be the 4 classrooms with 25 children in each classroom.
Oh,
So that
that's-
means
that's a good
100
size.
children.
That
Yes.
25 is just the right
Right.
Right,
size for.
and then, and we're doing that because we have wait lists at the community center for all of our childcare programs.
Yes.
And so we know the need is out there for families.
Yeah, you only have so much room at the community center.
We
so how
do.
many-
So we did look at renovating the community center with a grant, and we would only gain 1 additional classroom and have to shrink 2 of our preschool classrooms, and that just didn't make sense for
Right.
us. And so we looked at opportunities to expand outside. We did talk about the Northbridge Elementary School and the Aldrich School. And Northbridge Elementary, honestly, was just too big. It was a lot
It needs
to
a lot.
take.
I think it needs even more work than this
I
one.
agree. So in talking with the town manager, Adam Gaudet, we just talked about, and the Aldrich building is right across the street from us. It's
That's the other thing.
so
You would have
convenient.
been, not that far, but still a distance away.
Mhm. So we're able to walk across the street.
Right.
So the kids can still come over and go swimming, go play in the gymnasium,
Right.
use the Whitin Park for play space. It's
Yeah.
just ideal for us. So our school age program will go over there. So the kids that are there for before and after school will go over. And then we will be able to add an additional preschool room at the main Whitin Community Center building. So we'll go from being able to serve 60 kids to serving 80 preschoolers. And then going from 35 school-age children to 100 school-age children.
That's substantial.
Yes, it is.
And you serve the whole valley too.
We do.
You're not limiting it to North.
We are not.
No.
No, we get to serve everybody. And so our goal, and I know this has been a discussion on some of the social media, is when we can afford it, we will renovate the 3rd floor to become a youth center. So you know
Oh.
how we have the youth center,
Yeah.
you visit often.
Now you'll have one in
and we'll have
Whitensville.
one in Whitensville, but it'll be for the older kids. It'll be for those middle school and early high school kids.
Oh, okay, yeah,
So-
because what do you limit to here? What age?
They go up to middle school, but at a certain point, because they've been there since elementary school, they're too old for that now.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, this is for the younger kids. So this would be for the older kids.
Uh-huh.
And so this would be, they could walk to it, there would be a safe place for them to go and socialize with their friends and hang out,
Right.
without a whole bunch of staff supervising them. We'll have supervision, don't get me wrong, but it will be their space. And then they could walk over to the community center as they do now to play basketball, to go swimming, to roller skate, all of the different programs that they take advantage of.
Well, I know the youth center's been a big success.
Yes, yes.
And I talked to the people, the teachers, and they say it made a world of difference.
Yeah, we like to think so too. So
Yeah.
thank you for mentioning that. Harry was actually part of the beginning of the
Oh,
youth
that's
center
great.
back
That's
when it was
wonderful.
out on 122.
Yeah.
And he
That's
stayed in
wonderful.
touch and
Former
supports
Nolan's liquor
store.
Right,
Yeah,
yes.
we
And it
transferred.
was a great move.
Yes,
It was a good fit.
good fit.
And now it'll be a park.
Yes, exactly. Pretty soon, I hope.
Yeah.
It's getting closer.
But that was great that what you did there, because you took over a vacant building that they couldn't do anything with,
Correct.
and you're doing it again.
Right. And I think that's part of what is special about this project is it's not only going to enable us to serve more children, but we're going to save a historic building.
Yes.
That, you know, who knows what would happen to it at the end of the day. And so for us, it's meaningful that it's part of our history.
Well, number one, if you don't use a building, it deteriorates.
Correct.
We're seeing that with the
Elementary school.
elementary school on Cross Street.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it's in historic district.
It is.
It was the first high school,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so it helps to tell the story of Northbridge
Yes.
and the village of Whitinsville.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So-
And that's just one part of the big capital renovation. There's a lot of other exciting things happening as well. So that is
Yeah.
the most costly, and
Yeah, everything's
particularly,
costly,
everything is
unfortunately.
costly.
It is.
So we're looking to raise over $10 million. That dollar amount
Wow,
is
that's a big
fluid.
goal.
Yes,
It is a
yes,
big
and
goal.
it's,
That's really a large goal when you think about it for
Yes.
a community center
Yes.
in a village.
right.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
But, you know, when you look back though on your expansions, and one goes back to Charlie Thompson,
Yeah.
the big
Mm.
one,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
they pulled it off.
They did.
Right,
They
right.
did.
And that was a real large expansion.
It was.
Right.
Mhm.
But then, since then, you've done more renovations. You just had a situation where you had to renovate the gym floor.
Yep. So we renovated the whole gymnasium,
Yeah.
and if people haven't come to see it, come visit because it is absolutely amazing. We call it the start of the capital campaign. So this
Right.
was the first project that we did that was part of the capital campaign, and it's
all new
our gem.
HVAC, where before there was no air conditioning. So in the summer, it was stifling and almost unusable. So in so many ways, we've increased the amount of play space and capacity
Yeah.
because people want to go there now. They want to go in and play
Right.
basketball. So it's, and the quality of the floor, night and day, it's really a comfortable floor to play on, and.
And now we have 3 pickleball courts.
Yeah, that's a big factor too.
Yes.
Yes, and,
Are
and
they located where the tennis courts are?
no, so we do pickleball in the gymnasium. So
Oh,
we actually,
okay.
when we relined the floor, we did the basketball and pickleball
Oh.
and volleyball. So
Oh.
we can do all of those sports now with,
Pickleball is very popular with older people.
yes, it is.
You get a lot of them coming in?
Yes, we do.
Another waiting list
Yes.
Really?
to get there, yes.
Well, you know, the town put pickleball courts in Linwood.
In Linwood, yes. Yep.
But, you know, you're not gonna play there in the winter, so.
Right.
No,
Now you
no.
can play at the.
And they are utilizing the tennis courts too, some for some pickleball as well.
I've seen people
But those
playing
aren't
there.
leagues or anything for us. We just, they're just using them for, play, fun play.
Right.
Inside, it's leagues and stuff, so they're more serious, I think.
Well, you have some renovation ideas on the tennis courts as well?
We do. So we're still exploring exactly what we're going to do with that space, but we do need to replace the courts.
I was gonna say, they're up there in years.
They are. I don't know exactly how old they are, but I believe they've been renovated once. They've been replaced once. They used to be the garden beds for the mansion. So
Oh.
that was where the greenhouse and the flower beds all were.
Oh, okay.
And but they're in rough shape. So we are looking at options. We have been talking about either a turf field up there so that we can get more use out of it, be able to use it for rentals and stuff. We've also talked about a multi-court surface. So we're still exploring different options because I've heard a lot about taking away tennis. So
Well, they used to have the dances there on Friday night.
so they had tennis court dances.
Oh, wow,
Yes.
wow,
Yep.
wow,
On
wow,
Friday nights.
wow.
Yep.
So what I hear about most when I talk to people is basketball. I learned how to play basketball. I was there all the
Oh,
time
yeah.
playing
Yes.
basketball. That answer I hear a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other is roller skating, particularly
Yes,
on Friday
yes.
nights.
Friday
And
night
so
roller
I
skating.
hear
And we
it
still
all.
do that.
Yeah, you still got the roller
We
skating,
still
right?
have the roller skating.
I don't think there's anywhere else where you can roller skate, is there?
No,
It's-
maybe
and-
in Worcester.
Well, there
Yeah.
was a place in Milford, I don't think they closed.
I'm not
I
sure.
don't know, but nowhere around here. And people reminisce about, some of them, they came as their family on those Friday nights, and others came without family.
Yes.
And they remember holding hands with boys. These are the stories that I
yes.
hear all
Oh,
the
yes.
time about
And-
reminiscing, and we're still
And
doing
that's been
those
going on for
things.
years
Yes.
at roller skating.
Yes.
People have
Yes.
such a fond closeness and nostalgia for the community center. And the other is, of course, the pool. And
Well,
so,
it was a place where a lot of people in town learned to swim.
you know, Harry, if we had a dollar for everybody who said, I learned how to swim there, my
Exactly.
kids learned how to swim there.
We
and
could
so
fund part
forth.
of this capital campaign.
Yeah, we
Oh,
might
here
be
it goes.
done. We might be
When
done.
I was going to the Northbridge Rockdale Elementary School, they had a bus that used to take us. I forget. I think it was on a Friday.
Yep.
Would bring
Third
us
or
to the
fourth
gym.
grade, right? Fourth
Yeah.
grade usually, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yep.
And-
Part of the
and-
curriculum.
And you use the gym floor first, and then you went into the pool.
Right, gym and swim.
And for 10 cents, we got a towel and a bar of soap.
Wow.
A little bar of soap.
Bar of soap.
Well, you know, part of our childcare program is we do teach the kids how to swim. So
Yes.
the swim lessons are
That-
part
that-
of the
yeah, that's a big
childcare
factor.
program. It really is.
Yes,
And they
it
get
is.
to use the gym and
And they
you know,
roller
and the-
skate.
and
The
they
kids,
roller
all the
skate.
after-school kids
Kids roller
roller skate
skate.
all the time.
In fact, this year we had such a demand from middle schoolers, believe it or not, wanting to roller skate that we had to carve out their own time on Friday nights so that we would have the families with the little kids. Then we had to carve out time for the middle school kids
Oh,
to
wow.
roller skate, and then they play basketball on Friday nights. So
Like I say, you're going all the time.
we are going all the
Wow.
time. We open at 5 a.m. and close at
Yeah.
9:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. So,
Yeah.
and then on
Yeah.
the weekends we're open 6 and 6 to 5 on
Yeah, so
Sunday.
you open 7 days a week.
7 days a week, 110 hours during
Yeah,
the.
and you got a lot of people come in the morning to use the exercise rooms, right?
Right. So
right.
we did renovate that as well. We put in all new equipment, and that was thanks to fundraising money from the Greenway Challenge. So every year we run the Greenway Challenge, as you know.
Yes, that's coming up
It's
again
coming
this year.
September 28th, and so we this year we're going from the community center is the start, going through Uxbridge. I'm not going to tell you all the sites because it's still a surprise, but going through Uxbridge, you're going to go down into Woonsocket. You're going to end up in Douglas at Wallen Lake. But you're going to make a little detour into Connecticut at some point too. So it's the
Oh,
first
wow.
time we're going to make it a tri-state race. So
Wow, that's really
it's
something.
it's awesome. So we're very excited about it. But that is a fundraiser for us,
Yeah.
and so it took us 5 years, but we raised enough money to replace the equipment this
Now, this
year.
is a foot race.
It's actually a multi-sport
Multi-race, yeah,
multi-sport
can use a
race. There's paddling,
Yeah,
paddling
yeah.
or canoeing.
Yeah,
There's street bikes. There's mountain bikes. There's trail runs, street runs. So all of that, and it's up to 8
Oh.
segments. So
you're
this year will be 8
utilizing part of
segments.
the new bikeway.
We will be on the bikeway. We will be on the Blackstone River this year, which some people have been asking us for some time. We haven't been able to get on the river, but we're going to get on Blackstone River this year.
Yeah,
And we just like to be able to showcase, like the Blackstone Valley Heritage Corridor, when they ran the race, show the places, the beautiful places in the Blackstone Valley, recreational
down in
places.
Blackstone in the gorge, it's beautiful.
It is beautiful there. It
And
is
that'll be
beautiful.
part of it.
That is not part of this one, but it has been part of it in other times.
Oh,
So
okay.
not one of the transition areas this year, but it's one of my favorites. It's one of the ones
Yeah.
I did early on as a volunteer. I volunteered at transition sites back when I worked at the chamber.
I missed too, the canoe race. We used to have the canoe
Canoe
race.
race, yes.
In April.
Yes,
I
yeah.
did it 1 year with my son.
Mm-hmm.
It took me about a month to recoup.
Yes,
But,
it was big. Yeah, I think this too. This is over 50 miles, so we either have teams. So we'll have, friends that get together and do it. We
Yep.
have businesses that create corporate teams. Unibank always has teams in it. Koopmans has had a team in it before.
Now, does the team do the whole race, or they do it?
They
it's
do
a relay?
segments, so it's almost like a relay, correct? And
Yes,
you can
that's
do
what I
more than
mean.
one segment, or you could just do one segment and have 8
Right.
people on your team. And then you have people like Trent Koopman who run the entire thing by themselves.
Wow.
So 8 segments over 50 miles across 2-3 states, and he did it all by
Wow.
himself. And a couple of years ago, he won the entire race.
Wow.
That's twice.
Wow.
That's twice what the Boston Marathon is.
It's amazing. It is
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. Between
Wow.
50 and 60 miles, yeah,
yeah,
depending on the
you're
year.
doing twice the Boston Marathon.
Yeah. Well, Trent's pretty amazing, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, marathon
And
26 point
0.2,
something.
yeah, I think it's 26.2, yeah.
So I mean that's a
I know. So it is a good fundraiser. It enables us to do things like that, and it's just fun. It's just a
Yes.
fun time. People can volunteer. They can participate in the race. So we encourage everybody to check that
yeah.
out.
If you don't feel you can do the race, you could use some volunteers, right? to
Correct,
help out.
always. And every event we do, we always need volunteers, and that's sometimes fun too.
Yeah.
Just being able to, cheer on the racers, especially in Greenway, but, even like the picnic in the park, which we have on June 8th.
Yes, I wanted to get into that too. That
Yeah.
you handed that for a little while.
We did. So we took a 10-year break, and then we came back to it.
Yeah.
It was one of the ones that everybody wanted us to do for our 100th anniversary celebration last year, and we had so much fun that we wanted to do it again. So
Yeah. I mean, you have a lot of great booths.
we do kids games. We're having foam
Yeah.
party, which was the highlight last year,
Mm.
with the foamy bubbles, and the kids just had so much fun playing in
Oh,
the
yeah.
bubbles and
And of course, the food is
trucks.
phenomenal.
Yeah. So that's on June 8th, from 10 to 2. So
Yeah, that's the first
Hopefully.
one coming up, isn't it?
that is not
Yes.
long, not
No.
long.
And then you're having youth outreach summer theater.
Summer theater, Peter Pan this year.
Oh.
So the kids will do 3, and they're going from 2 productions to 3 productions this year.
Wow.
So the 19th, the 20th, and the 21st.
They must have already started rehearsing, right?
They are rehearsing now. They just did auditions a couple weeks ago, and so they're well underway and having so much fun. So that's free for the students to participate in. So that's something we do not charge for.
Oh.
It's part of the outreach program, so it's free for all participants. We charge for
To come in and
to
watch.
come in and watch.
Yeah.
But for the kids to participate, we don't charge anything.
Wow.
So yeah, we're fortunate to have sponsors for that.
And then, of course, the
Cars in the
cars
Park.
in the park.
Yeah, 10th
Yeah.
year. It's our
Wow.
10-year anniversary this year for Cars in the Park.
How did that idea come about?
That's a good question. I mean, there's always been like the car shows that they would have, and at the community center they would have the what do they call those? The car shows like at
Oh, yeah,
all the different places. There's a
cruising.
name, cruising.
Okay.
And so they did that, and they would have that at the community center. And then it just became bigger, and we said, let's do Cars in the Park. And each year it's had more and more cars. We've had over 300 cars
Wow.
all over
You'd be
the park.
amazed at some of those cars.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
But-
amazing.
It is a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
I know, I used to put it on for the Legion.
Yes, yes. You used to do car shows here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
I'd have to work about 6 months before to put everything together. You gotta get trophies, you gotta
Oh, yes.
do the
Oh, yes.
promotional work and everything
Oh,
else.
yes.
Everything worthwhile is
Yeah.
a lot of work.
Yeah, so,
But,
but that's
I
one of
mean,
our
it's-
favorites. It's, we get so many different people, and people from different parts of the state or
Yeah.
the region.
But you got a great spot there,
We do. We do.
so it really makes for a good show.
Yeah, it's a lot for people to see. And yeah, to the point where a few years ago when we had the drought, we almost had a fire,
Yes.
and the fire department couldn't even get in, so we decided we have to fix that. So we have to
Oh, boy.
create lanes so that, God forbid, we do need an emergency service, we could get in.
Yeah.
So it was a little scary. We had an oil leak. Somebody
Oh.
was parked up on the hill and tilted enough that it was leaking out the gas and the
Oh.
oil. So it was because it was the drought, everything was brown. So
Right.
then everybody around them's
Oh,
getting
boy.
nervous.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we had to do some, just some dirt and stuff. But, it's one of those things where there's just so many people, so many cars. It's, yeah,
Well,
but it's
you-
wonderful.
Your building's over 100 years old now.
We are. We are. So, and I'll let Victoria get back to telling you about the pool. So the original pool,
Yes.
100 years old.
Yes.
It's original to the building.
Yes.
So the
It
grand.
shows you how good the construction was.
Yes.
Right,
Right.
yes.
The grand lady needs some work though. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're about 50% done with the work that needs to get done there. So we have the HVAC to work on next, and but we worked on even the pool. The changing areas have all been upgraded as well, and so we're looking to raise some money to finish out. Mostly the HVAC is going to be the most costly.
But we've already replaced the roof, we replaced the windows, we added a UV system so that, you know, in addition to chlorine, you now have the extra correction of any bad bacteria or anything with the UV system.
Handicap accessible, fully handicap accessible.
Oh, yeah, because it wasn't at all before.
Right,
Right,
right.
right.
So that was big. That was very important as well.
And we were able to, so eventually there's going to be some pool code changes, and so of course this was built 100 years ago, so
Right.
to have, you know, any changes to the pool code is hard for us because it's not meant for that. So we had to actually change out some pipes. So interesting fact about the original pool, you can walk underneath the original pool and
Yes.
all around it underneath.
Yes, I've seen that.
Have you? Yes.
Yes.
So we were able to change out a pipe just by going under
Right.
and doing it.
The only problem is that probably a lot of that has asbestos.
Actually, no, it's a lot of cast iron pipes down there,
Didn't
but
wrap
they're
them in asbestos to keep.
not. I think that's been corrected prior to this
Oh,
work. So
okay.
I think there may be some still there, but not the ones that we had to touch.
I
So
mean, they did at the time was called for. It was not a problem.
exactly, right?
You know,
Yes.
You had lead pipes.
Correct. We have a little bit of asbestos in Aldrich that we'll have to fix too.
Yeah, I mean,
and
these
lead.
buildings are at
Lead
the
paint.
age where that was a normal situation.
Exactly. So, but now that's all required to be done especially when you have any children around. So we're able to do that. So now the turnover rate of the water is exceeding code. So that's a good thing too. So it's keeping the water cleaner, but also meeting code. So yeah, we're excited.
That was a show place. I
It
mean,
was.
They had the auditorium, the seating up above.
Yes, we still have that.
Right.
And, I mean, you imagine, that was packed back then. We had a woman from town that went to the Olympics.
Uxbridge, yep.
Uxbridge from,
Yep,
Yeah.
Alice Bridges, 1936 Olympics.
yeah, so you think about, because that was an Olympic-sized pool at the time,
I
and now
know.
they made
Isn't
them
that
bigger
crazy
now.
to think about? Yes.
Yeah.
When you go and compare it
Right.
to our competition pool, it's like
Right,
it's
right,
so
right.
different.
But that was the size required back then.
Mm-hmm.
And what's nice about it is that it's kept at 88 degrees, which is warm.
Yes.
And so it's ideal for swim lessons for the kids, especially since they spend so much time sitting on the deck and getting their turn to swim.
Yes.
It's so comfortable for them. And then all of the therapeutic classes that we have, it's ideal.
Yes, for seniors, you have some great swim
Exactly,
classes.
yes,
do.
exactly.
And, they take full advantage of it, and that's the wonderful thing. Plus, Blackstone Valley Physical Therapy does aquatic physical therapy in the pool as
Oh.
well. And so for us, while that's a wonderful thing, it's also provides a challenge for us. So when we have to work on the pool, we can't shut it down for months to get the work
Right.
done that we need to get done in the pool. So we're trying to do it a little bit at a time. So it's going to take us years to get all the way through because
You can't use the new pool?
I'll let you talk to the people in the pool. The interesting thing is that if you use either pool, on a regular basis, if it's half a degree off or a degree off. Like they know to that level of
Yeah.
detail.
Wow.
Yes.
And so going from 88 to 81, not even a possibility.
Right.
We'll move some classes over because we can, because they don't need the warm water as much, but the little kids or the seniors for some
Wow.
of the classes, absolutely not. No way.
To me, 81 sounds fairly warm,
It
too.
is, but
Yeah.
when you're used to 88, I
Yeah.
think, like I said, if it goes down to 87, they're letting us know there's something wrong with the heater. You have to fix it.
I mean, I think that's probably what the water temperature in Florida, for crying out loud.
Right.
No, it's amazing
You
though.
won't find
but-
an ocean up here, even in August, that's 80, 81 degrees.
Correct.
Yes,
Correct.
yes.
Yes.
So that's another reason why we stand out. And the other thing is, I call it a pool desert. If you look around, there aren't too many options to go swimming.
No, there aren't.
And you've got dangerous options, plenty of dangerous and nuisance options in the natural waterways.
Oh, yeah.
So, but there aren't any options to learn how to swim in this area.
Well, we don't have a town beach. We did for a little while, but because of problems with people getting hurt, liability, insurance, you got that.
We do.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, it's not easy to, town can't afford it,
Right.
in other words.
Correct. Yeah, no, it's a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
there's, and you have to have the people properly trained.
Yes.
We're fortunate that not only do we have the licensed, and certified people to do, through American Red Cross, we can teach people
Right.
that as well. So we teach people how to be a lifeguard or how to teach swim lessons.
Well, that's important. You've been doing that for a number of years,
We
forever.
have.
And this is important because you really need to have, your kids might want to become lifeguards, but you have to get that training. And
You
where do you
do.
get it?
Right. So we offer that a few times a year to enable not only to make sure all of ours are up to date on their certifications, all of our
Right.
lifeguards, but to train others that are lifeguarding at ponds and lakes and other things
Yeah.
too during the summers.
In fact, right now they were talking, the state's got a shortage of lifeguards.
They do.
They have for a few years.
Yes.
Yeah.
And to have, there's an even greater shortage of the water safety instructors who are the ones who are teaching the classes. And that we have them, on staff and available is really unusual. Not many organizations have this luxury, and other organizations come to us for training.
So your classes must be pretty well filled up.
We call signing up for swim lessons a combat sport right now because it is sold out in minutes in some cases.
Wow.
So we're very very cognizant of that and trying to figure out ways that we could add more ability to do swim lessons because it is challenging right now for families to be able to get swim lessons even with us because there's such a great need and wait lists and all of those good things.
Right.
And so one of our employees whose son just turned 6 months, she was up at 5 a.m. waiting she was saying she was waking up at 3 a.m., 4 a.m., and 5 a.m., putting in alarms to make sure she got there for 5 a.m. so she could sign up her son. And, people are like, well, you work there. And she's like, nope, I get no special treatment either.
That's right.
Everybody's treated the same.
Wow.
I couldn't get my grandson in the first session, but I got him in the second because that wasn't as popular. That didn't sell out in 5 minutes.
What age
yeah.
do you start teaching them at?
6 months.
6 months. That's
6
great though,
months.
because they have no fear of the water.
No, and I say that that's one of the beautiful things about the original pool is we can have 6 months to 90 plus in that pool.
Yes.
Like that's how much of a span utilizes that pool, and without the work that we're doing and through the capital campaign in this renovation project, it's not. It would have to go away, and how many people would be impacted by that? People from 6 months to 90 plus in our
Right.
community, and as you said, so many people learn to swim there, and we wouldn't be able to do all of the swim lessons that we did in the competition pool just because of the nature of the temperature as well as just how busy that pool is. So,
Right.
But I will say too, I wanted you, because you brought up Charlie earlier, this is going to become the Charles E. Thompson pool.
Oh.
And it was actually named that when Charlie retired.
Yeah.
And I've had his plaque in my office since that happened because Charlie wanted to wait until we could renovate the pool before we put up his name and everything. So, and Charlie is working tirelessly to manage this project as a former director and current trustee and co-chair of the capital campaign
He
make
retired,
sure.
but he never left.
He never really left, no. So he's actively involved, but it will be the Charles E. Thompson pool when we're all said and done.
Oh, deservingly.
Deservingly. Charlie's very passionate about children learning to swim. He will tell you stories about how difficult it was for him to learn to swim and how important it is. And as a scout leader for so many years,
Yes.
he's also very passionate about making sure that everybody
Now,
knows how to
getting
swim.
back to daycare, do you,
Yeah.
do you have a swim program with the daycare?
Yes, so we bring them into our pool, into the original pool, and teach them to swim as part
Yeah,
of it.
so that's a great deal. I mean, you're not just getting daycare, you're getting
Correct.
swim lessons for them.
Correct. And with the older kids that are in school already, with the school age program, they can swim for fun in the pools. Whether it be the competition pool or the original pool, depending on the time of year and everything else, it's different pools. But they'll come and swim in it. So it's just an added benefit that the kids are able to do that and learn to swim. So they're not afraid of the water.
No,
And then the other piece I think we should talk about is Whitin Park.
yes.
So part of the project, we talked about the tennis courts, but the other part of that project is to create play spaces there. So that's part of the campaign too.
Right now, it's really a giant sandbox is really what we have for our preschool because the equipment needed to be replaced. It just wasn't safe. And so we're trying to raise money to have quality, not only play spaces, but educational play spaces that will be
Okay,
there.
a tot lot?
Something similar to that,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes. If we're thinking about the same thing, it's not just a slide, it's an educational
Right.
slide that also teaches the alphabet, reinforces the alphabet and other kinds of learning. Every single piece of it will have an educational component to it.
Yes.
And be
And-
able to have a panel that you can play music on. There'll be things that you can play music on. There'll be we're going to hopefully have a water wheel type idea to mimic the mill across the street and talk, and teach the kids
Well,
about
the
water.
symbol of the
and-
valley is the
and-
water wheel.
Exactly. So we want to have that as a piece in what we're doing too. So the kids learn about water and in science and other things through that as well. So it's what they call naturescapes and as Victoria said, educational play spaces. So it's not just the physical having fun on the playground equipment anymore. It's part of teaching them, but also for us, the naturescape piece is to make sure it blends in with the park. It's not
Right.
just a bright colored, piece of equipment that you stick in the middle of the park, but it blends into the park and it becomes part of it. So, and hopefully blends in with our entire surroundings.
Yeah, you're fortunate, you've got such a large area of land.
I didn't know that it was part of the community center until I started working there.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it was there. I knew it was a beautiful park. I didn't know it was part of the community center. I don't know how many other
Well,
people
originally
know
it was a
that.
mansion.
Yes, John C. Whitin's mansion.
Yeah. In fact, they had that water garden, Swan Garden, I guess it was.
Yes, yes,
And it's still there.
it
To a
is.
certain extent,
to a
it just
certain
has no water in it.
Correct. And there was an old fountain up there, and then the
Yeah,
tea
yeah.
house, which is now our
Yeah.
pavilion. And so we want to make sure, and we hope to replicate the pavilion down lower where the kids could maybe do some, acting and, on a stage and things like that, and have some fun with that as well. Because I think it's important for them to understand their history too, and how it interacts with the rest of the community.
Well, that's why I was on the committee, I chaired the committee to get the Heritage District,
Yes,
and you're part of it.
we are.
Because it is a big part of what happened here.
It is. It is. I just, what I did this a few weekends ago, Harry? I went on the trolley tour. I
Yeah.
went on
He does a
Mr.
great job.
Warshall's last trolley tours, and I had never been there before, so I had never done it.
Yeah.
I've, been in this community for a while, and always is like saying to myself, I got to go do that. I have to go do that. And so I learned a lot about the history and the district and everything, and the importance of the community center, which Charlie's taught me over the years as well. And just the women in the town too, and what their roles were, as well as the men.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so,
But
yeah,
it was
fascinating.
Marston Whitin's daughters that
Yes.
gave us the community center.
They
back in
gifted the community center in memory of
early
their father.
1920s.
1922 was when it was incorporated. 1923 is when it opened.
Yeah. And that was not done anywhere else.
No, and I say this all the time when I talk to people, is that when we had the gala, I reread the speech of the opening of the community center,
Oh.
and so much of what they said when it opened could be applied to today, about how the goal was to make Whitinsville a better, happier place to be.
Right.
And talked about being neighbors and sense of community and the importance of mental health and physical health when you have a situation like this, but also social health. And
Yes.
that's how forward thinking they were at that time. And to think about it now, we could. I said I could reread the entire speech, except for the one part where they said, and it's for women, and it's for you women too. Literally, that's what it said. So, but it was, it's just, I think their
Well,
vision of what they wanted the community center to be is the same as we would say now, is a place for people to come together, to focus on your physical health, your
Well, you
mental
mentioned
health.
women too. That was a time when women got the vote.
Not yet, not in 1923, but yes, later.
Right in
Yep.
that time.
In that time, yep.
So, I mean, you were considered a lesser citizen.
You were, yes.
And they didn't look at it that way.
They didn't. They viewed it as something that they could contribute back
I mean, if
into
you look
their
at
community.
it, Marston Whitin had all daughters,
He did.
and they had to marry people that could run the shop.
Correct. But one of the things I learned on the trolley tour is that the four sons of Mr. Fletcher, or Mr. Whitin, Paul Whitin,
Yeah.
Betsy Fletcher, the mother, after Paul passed away for the next 32 years, helped run the shops and
Yes.
made the four sons come to her on Sundays and explain what they were doing for the business the whole
She
week.
actually ran the business.
Which was, and she couldn't vote.
No.
But she
No.
could. But she was running the
Right.
business, making sure her sons ran the business the
Yeah.
way they should. Which, as a mother of three boys, I really appreciate.
Yeah, I mean, she had them develop the cotton mills.
Yes. Yeah, and she gifted each son a separate mill so
Yeah.
that she, in her words, keep family harmony.
Yeah.
Which I can also appreciate as a mother of boys.
Yeah, it's amazing what she did.
Yes.
And of course,
Yes.
John was the engineer of it.
Yes.
So he made the machinery.
Yes, he did. Hmm.
But she did run the whole family.
Yes.
Right up until the day she died.
Right, yes. Yeah. So, but we're lucky. So, we were able to do that. We do have a little work to do at the Rockdale Youth Center too. That it was if you can believe it, that building is now 8 years old. The new Rockdale Youth Center is 8 years old.
Wow.
It was 2016.
Time flies.
It does, doesn't it? But
my
we only
God.
did the one floor. So now we want to look at the bottom floor and renovate that.
renovate that and make a steam room down there, which will help the children learn science, technology,
Oh.
engineering, art, and math, which is important in today's educational environment, and innovation, and helping them once they graduate and while they're in school with their courses, so that when they graduate they can compete with other students and the world.
Right.
I mean, innovation is where the country is
Well,
a
you're
little bit
doing a
behind.
great service
Never mind.
in the respect that some of these kids don't have parents that really get them interested in educating.
Or they don't have access.
Right.
They don't have access. They
in some
they
cases,
have
they don't-
parents who want the best for their children.
But in some
And-
cases, the parents are tied up with working just to keep alive. And in
Yeah.
some
To
cases,
feed
single
them,
families.
Right,
Single
right.
parents.
Right.
And
It's not
they're
easy.
tied up with so many other things running the family. You don't have the time to really crack down on that. But you get through it here. You teach them, get your homework done.
Right.
Right.
It's mandatory
Yeah.
at the youth center.
You make availability for computers for them.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
So we give them access. I think that's the greatest gift, is that they have access to everything that everybody else has. And so that it is a level playing field, so that they're not behind.
And
that
I know
they're-
a number of kids have come out of there and done well, gone on to higher education.
Yes.
And they come back.
Yes.
And they come
yes.
back
And
and
they
they
come back.
mentor, and they mentor
Yes.
the younger children,
Yes.
and they're great role models.
Yeah.
Right. We were lucky this past annual meeting. So as part of our annual meeting, we do awards, and we had this young man who grew up going to the youth center. He, as a youth, received one of our awards, the Charlie Thompson Youth Volunteer of the Year Award, and because of just everything he was doing, a lot of community service, with the community center and with outside of the community center. He comes back and he helps the kids with summer youth theater. Now he's older, has a
Yeah.
full-time job, really good job, comes back, helps with youth theater, gets our Daniel Salmon Outreach Award. So full circle. Here's a
Yeah.
young man that recognized the benefits of what he gained from the
Yes.
Rockdale Youth Center and is giving back now to those kids that are there like he was.
He goes back to the original one.
Yes, he does. Yeah. So amazing.
It is
I mean-
amazing, and even in addition to the programs that I talked about, there's a lot of programs that help to work on mental health types of issues. And this is so important today. It is for everybody. But to
Yes.
take time and prioritize it and normalize it in an after-school environment will go a long way longitudinally for these kids.
I just had a woman on last week. She was involved with the Millbury Women's Club. But she is promoting mental health.
So she did the Tulip Garden.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
So the community center, Open Sky started this
Yes.
in our area. And I went to Open Sky, and during COVID, with masks on, we dug a tulip garden, which is still there. And
Yeah.
then we did them at our locations, including the Rockdale Youth Center and the main Whitin Community Center branch, and also in Douglas at the childcare program we have there. And then we moved and we did it on the Common with the Women's Success Network, which is through the Chamber of Commerce,
Yeah.
one of their programs. And we did some in Millbury ourselves too, and then
Yeah.
that spurred the Millbury Women's Club to be interested in doing it. And
Yeah,
then we
we
had
had
a young
a-
woman from 4-H Club that did it in Mendon and Upton in their school districts and all of
It
their
keeps
schools.
growing
And
now.
It keeps growing, and I think that's the amazing part about that. But it's to your point, it's to stop treating mental health as something we don't talk about.
Right.
The idea is to
It's the same
smash
as
that
having
stigma.
a cold. It's like it's
Correct.
a sickness.
Correct.
It's an illness,
It is an illness.
and maybe it's an illness in the brain, but there's something rare, and
Yes.
there's a reason for it.
Correct. Correct.
And we got to try
And
to
it's something
cure
we
it,
shouldn't
not-
be ashamed of. It should
right,
be something that
nothing
we
to be
can.
ashamed of.
Yep.
I mean, don't be ashamed. If you get cancer, you shouldn't be ashamed.
Correct. Correct.
Things
So why is
happen.
this any different?
Harry, I'd love to ask your donors if any part of this has inspired them or moved them to take action, and go to our website,
Yeah.
www.whitincommunitycenter.com. And there's an easy way to find a way to donate there, and that's really the best way. And if
Yeah.
you learned how to swim at the Whitin Community Center, donate $1. If everybody donates $1,
No
you can
donation's too
add.
small.
Yeah, no
Correct.
donation is too
Correct.
small
Correct.
or large, but really, truly, and that I think speaks volumes.
And if you're wondering what to do with your time, offer to volunteer.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes.
And if and one of the things that I think we should mention too, I know a lot of people talk about our locker rooms. That's one of the other projects that we didn't mention yet, and we will talk about that. That's something that we're working towards, trying to figure out how to do, what to do, and move the fitness room out of the basement, hopefully up on the first floor where
good.
the spin and racquetball courts are.
Yeah.
Put a second floor on there and be able to use that as the fitness room. So we're looking at all different options. Those are these are projects that are going to take years, but we we need some help with money now. We're about 42% of our goal, I believe, is the right number. So we've raised just over 4 million. So it's still a ways to go, but we're making progress. And if people donate even $100, you know what you can get? A piece of the old gymnasium floor.
Oh.
Or Valancourt Folk Art 100th Anniversary Ornament that was specially designed for us by
okay.
Judy Valancourt. But if you do donate $1,000, we're going to have a donor wall in the community center.
Yeah.
On the, right over where the stairs are, on that big wall back there.
Yeah,
and
you did that with
that's
the
for history.
expansion.
Yep, exactly. So, you know, a lot of people see the bricks that as you walk in, that was the first addition. In the atrium on your way to the competition pool, there's stepping stones there that were for, this will be for this legacy 100th anniversary campaign. So hopefully people will consider that
And you can
something.
pay over 5 years.
Correct.
So
It's monthly amounts,
$1,000 over 5 years is affordable.
Yeah, you might be doing that anyway.
What did we say? That was $19.23?
That was exactly, if you gave $1,000 and spread it out in a paycheck every 2 weeks for 2 years, it comes out to $19.23, which is symbolic of the year that we opened,
you go.
1923.
Isn't that amazing? Like,
Yes.
just to think about that,
Right.
that's so crazy.
Yeah, in some cases too, your companies do matching.
Correct,
Yes.
yes. And if you just ask the company that you work for, some of them will match it.
And you're keeping the money local.
You are. You know, and some people, they'll take life insurance policies, they'll take stocks, securities, that types of things, and donate it that way, which we can also accept. So we just appreciate anything that people could help with. But like you said, it's for our community. We're a nonprofit. Nobody's getting
Right.
rich at the community center. We,
Yes, and
invested all
also-
back into the building, into our community through services.
Any donation is tax deductible.
Donations are tax deductible. Very good, Harry. Thank you. Yes, they are. So that is helpful too. I mean, for individuals, it's helpful too.
Yes.
And you know, I think it's important to say that our all of our trustees on our board gave. All of our members of our senior leadership team gave. So we have 100% commitment from the leadership of the community center. That's how much we all believe in what we're doing.
Yes. We're running out of time.
Yes.
Yes.
We're gonna have you back in the fall because you got
Excellent.
you got more programs coming up.
We
didn't get into
do.
the fall programs, the Halloween haunted swim and costume roller skating party.
Yes.
I know that was very popular.
Very popular. We actually ran out of slots for that too. So we're looking this year to try to add more sessions so that we can get more families in
And you have the Nightmare on Main Street, which is a walk through.
the park in
the
Whitin Park.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And of course Santa.
Santa comes December 14th this
Yeah.
year. So, and I think the one I failed to mention too was the golf tournament.
Yes, the
Which is
golf
a lot of fun.
tournament.
So this year it's at Blissful Meadows on
yeah.
September 16th. We try to move around the valley a little bit so that we're able to make it accessible to a lot of different people.
Yeah.
And it's kind of fun to try different
A
golf
good time in
courses.
middle of September is a good time to play golf.
Yes, last year was amazing. We had it at Whitinsville Golf Club because they're our partners in the
Right.
community for being part of some of the benefits of the Whitin family. So we had a wonderful time there. And it was a beautiful course, beautiful day. We were so fortunate.
Oh,
And
that's nice.
yes, it was very nice. So this year, hopefully, Blissful Meadows.
Yeah.
It'll be equally as nice.
I'm not a golfer, but it's a nice place and it's a
It
nice
is.
walk.
It is, and it's a nice way to give back too, because that's a fundraising event for us
Yes.
as well.
All right, well, thank you for coming in.
Yeah, our pleasure, Carrie.
And just one more reminder, you got I got time here. You got Picnic in the Park, June 8th. The Youth Outreach Summer Theater production on July 19th and 20th. Cars in the Park, August 17th. Good month for it. It
Yes,
usually doesn't rain in August too.
yes. Because the classic cars don't like it when it rains.
No, they won't get, there's a drop of rain in the sky, they will not come out.
Yes, correct.
Those cars don't
Correct.
get wet.
Correct. They do not get wet.
And then benefit golf tournament on September 16th. And the Greenway is on September 28th, which lines up the beginning of the fall
It
season.
is. We're busy at this time.
Yeah. Okay, we gotta go.
All right, thank
All
you very
right.
much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Thank you.
and have a good summer.